Alright, people, let's not waste any time. Hello, this is not usually what this YouTube channel is for, and unlike every other video that has been posted on this channel, it's just me today. None of my friends are here. But I wanted to do this. I have predictions for the upcoming film Avengers Doomsday, which is gonna get a trailer in maximum 2 days from the time that I'm currently recording this video. Uh, this is just a combination of ideas that I've had since July 3rd of this year up until now for how this movie's going to play out. Originally, I was going to have a more serious, quote-unquote, script, but many months later, I have decided that it'd just be best for me to casually talk into a microphone about what I think will happen. And to clarify, this isn't what I want to happen for these movies, at least not necessarily. This is just what I think could and will probably happen, given the interests of Marvel Studios and the Russo brothers who are directing this movie. Be advised that some of what I have to say here is based on original ideas that I've had. Some of the stuff I'm going to say is based on things that happened in the comics. And some of the stuff I'm going to say is based on the leaked concept art for Avengers Doomsday and its sequel. That, I believe it was leaked last year. As to not spoil you on which plot ideas in this video are more likely, I'm not going to tell you the source of any of the ideas that I present, unless it's something that I think is probably fine. Also, I'm recording all of this in one take in PowerPoint because I don't like conventional video editing. I don't care what they say. I'm doing it. If this video somehow blows up, I hope more people make videos in PowerPoint. I don't know. Okay, first things first. Spoilers for these movies and TV shows. Yes, Secret Invasion will be relevant to this film, at least in my idea for it, I guess. Okay, here are the 6 Avengers. There's going to be 6 of them. It's going to be these people, judging by what we know about the film's cast. This isn't so much of a prediction as it is an observation, because I don't really know who else could be on this team, judging by the cast of the film. We have Thor, Falcon, Captain America, Black Panther, Shang-Chi, and Ant-Man. Ant-Man's really small, because I think that's funny. Alright, so the opening of the film is going to be the Fantastic Four versus Doctor Doom in the Fantastic Four's universe, which is Earth 828, if I'm not mistaken. Doom wants to kidnap Franklin Richards, the son of Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman. All 4 of the heroes fight Doom, but he defeats them, probably gravely injuring one of them, and ultimately he's able to teleport away with Franklin. And this is where the title card happens. The post-credit scene of the Fantastic Four First Steps, by the way, is a scene from Avengers Doomsday. It's the beginning of this opening fight scene. And I'm going to cough. Give me a second. Alright, let's go. So, this is a song called Doomsday by MF Doom, and it might not be in the film Avengers Doomsday, which is also called Doomsday, and has the character that this rapper is based on. But, you know, it would be cool if it was. I guess this isn't really a prediction, but you know what? You clicked on the video anyway, so just keep watching. After the fight with the Fantastic Four, we cut to a montage in the main universe, the Sacred Timeline, set to this song, Doomsday, and things are looking grim. Scott Lang is struggling to pay rent as the Ant-Man suit is sprawled upon his couch. Thor is trying to quell anti-Asgardian protests in America, caused by the current xenophobia towards quote-unquote rogue nations as per the finale of Secret Invasion. Shuri is staring longingly at street art of T'Challa and her mother. And finally, the montage settles on Sam Wilson and Bucky Barnes, who are both attending the funeral of Steve Rogers, because he's old now and it was bound to happen. There's clear tension in the air. After all, this is after the events of Thunderbolts. Sam and Bucky quickly argue about Bucky's involvement with the Thunderbolts, aka the New Avengers. Sam thinks it's disgraceful. As the argument grows louder and more uncomfortable, Sam says something about how things can never go back to the good times, how they used to be, and Bucky storms off. Somehow, and I'm saying somehow because I can't predict anything, but trust me, the writers will figure it out, don't worry about it. Sam Wilson gets into contact with Doctor Doom, who mysteriously looks a lot like his deceased friend Tony Stark. Doom uses this similarity to manipulate him. Maybe he says he's a version of Iron Man from another universe. And he's searching for the Fantastic Four, who he claims is a group of supervillains who want to steal his child, who he currently has in his possession. Because, of course, if you remember from the Fantastic Four First Steps, Franklin Richard has cool space powers, which Doom can feel because of his magic or something, because Doom has magic, which he didn't have in the other Fantastic Four films, but we're remedying that here. This worries Sam, as in the fourth Captain America movie, he got told that there'd be some multiversal catastrophe. So, he assembles the Avengers to protect Doom's supposed son, and they literally serve as bodyguards on Doom's spaceship. Some of the Avengers are displeased about this, especially Thor and Black Panther, who have better things to do, but Ant-Man is just happy to get paid. Meanwhile, as seen in the post-credit scene of Thunderbolts, the Thunderbolts are chilling at Avengers Tower when they get readings from outer space. The Fantastic Four's ship has entered this universe. The Thunderbolts have the Fantastic Four land at the tower, where they are able to explain the truth about Doom. He kidnapped Franklin because he has an ability called the Power Cosmic, which can change reality and resurrect people, as it did in the previous movie with the Fantastic Four. The Thunderbolts and the Fantastic Four need to rescue Franklin, which becomes an issue as the Avengers side with Doom, perhaps even publicly, who knows. So, one of the first fights, maybe near the start of Act 2, is the Avengers versus the Thunderbolts, or the New Avengers, whatever. I don't know what name they have. The Avengers are convinced that Doom is a good guy and just trying to protect his kid, again, mostly because he looks like Tony Stark. For some reason, he does. And the Thunderbolts know the truth, but they can't convince the Avengers because of their flawed reputations. Like, Ghost tried to kill Ant-Man's child that one time, and Red Guardian served the Soviet Union, which Americans apparently hated. I wouldn't know. I've been to America for about a week total in my life, so I would understand the Avengers' reluctance anyway. I don't think the Fantastic Four would be in this fight, because then it would just be unfair against the Avengers, because it'd just be so many people. Notably, Bob is also absent. He does not turn back into the Sentry to help the team because of the inherent risk of turning into the Sentry. Again, if it happens in Thunderbolts. Watch Thunderbolts. It's a good movie. The Sentry is cool and dangerous, I guess. But where are the Fantastic Four? Well, let's say that Doom needs adamantium, which is an alloy of vibranium, for whatever nefarious machine he's creating. So, while the Avengers and the Thunderbolts are fighting, Doom is secretly waging a one-man war against Wakanda, trying to steal a lot of vibranium because, I suppose you need a lot of vibranium to make a little bit of adamantium. Whatever, you can just write that in there. Okoye and M'Baku are trying to fight him, but they're not cutting it. Then Namor shows up because Talokan and Wakanda have an alliance as of the end of Black Panther 2. Then the Fantastic Four show up, and they're able to fight off Doom with their powers combined. Namor flirts with Invisible Woman as a reference to the comics or something. They ponder what machine Doom is trying to build with adamantium. Invisible Woman thinks it has something to do with Franklin, and Namor suggests that vibranium's energy-absorbing properties are involved, but who knows? Anyway, the Avengers beat the Thunderbolts and detain them. Sam is especially mad about detaining Bucky, but it's what he has to do. Shang-Chi and Shuri wonder if the Thunderbolts are right. What if Doom is actually evil? This guy is a stranger, after all. It really should be thinking about this. Maybe these people in particular are thinking about this because they never met Iron Man, so they aren't as swayed by the visual similarities of the two characters played by Robert Downey Jr. for some reason. Ant-Man and Thor aren't buying this. but Sam is slowly being persuaded. Meanwhile, Shuri, who, if you'll recall, is really good with technology, explores Doom's spaceship and investigates where he's keeping Franklin. And that's when she makes a shocking discovery. Franklin is in what seems to be a regular hyper-futuristic cradle, but it's actually hooked up to a bunch of wires that seem to indicate one thing. Doom wants to use this adamantium-powered machine to absorb Franklin's powers. When Doom returns to the ship, having been bested by the Fantastic Four and the Wakandans, Shuri confronts him, and the Avengers side with her. But before they can free the Thunderbolts and have a proper face-off, Doom uses sorcery to teleport the Avengers and the Thunderbolts to another universe. It's not very convenient for them. Anyhow, they all crash into an empty mansion. A man in a blue suit with a visor over his eyes walks in, sees all the bright green portal they came out of, and gets ready to fight, thinking that the Avengers and Thunderbolts are working with Doctor Doom. That guy with the visor is Cyclops, played by James Marsden, who is kind of a good actor sometimes. And he summons the X-Men to attack. And there's a cool fight scene with all of the X-Men, or at least all of the X-Men that Marvel could get for this movie. However, there is one X-Man who appears who was not in the publicly revealed cast list, that being Wolverine, played by Hugh Jackman. Anyhow, Professor X intervenes after there's enough cool fight shots, and he forces everybody to stop fighting because he's wise and somehow knows this is a misunderstanding because he's wise. I don't know. He explains that Doom attempted to take over the X-Men universe by absorbing the powers of Jean Grey, who died during the power absorption process. This process didn't end up working, which Doom would later discover was because he needed adamantium. Either way, Doom's attempt to take over the X-Men universe caused an incursion, which is a kind of universal atrophy as seen in Doctor Strange 2. Now, at this point, because of the incursion, the X-Men are some of the last living people in this universe. Of course, everybody is terrified now, because if the power absorption machine killed the extremely powerful Jean Grey, it'll definitely kill the baby that he has kidnapped. It's a good thing, then. Oh, well, I shouldn't have made the slide like this. That's fine. It's a good thing, then, that Namor and M'Baku lent the Fantastic Four some vibranium off-screen so that they could build a portal to rescue the Avengers and the Thunderbolts. Also, the X-Men tag along because they want revenge against Doom, and it's good for marketing. Anyway, the final battle of the movie takes place on Celestial Island, which is an important location in Captain America 4 and the ending of Eternals. The important thing is, there's adamantium in the ground of the island. So the Avengers, Thunderbolts, and X-Men must prevent Doom, who is represented here using a nice little Lego minifigure, from drilling into the ground with a team of mining robots, because he has robots. Meanwhile, the Fantastic Four return to Avengers Tower so that they can get into their ship, fly into space, sneak onto Doom's ship, and save Franklin. Bob comes along with the Fantastic Four because he wanted to feel useful. Anyhow, the Fantastic Five, I guess, counting Bob, are successful. When the battle concludes, it seems that Doom is defeated. His mining robots have been destroyed, and the Fantastic Four used that portal from earlier to send Franklin back home to their universe, safe and sound. The Fantastic Four and Bob arrive on Celestial Island, ready to arrest or kill Doom or something. I'm not sure what they would do. Again, that's for the writers to figure out. But then, Doom gets a good look at Bob, and his eyes widen. As it turns out, and Doom can sense this because he has magic sensing abilities or something, Bob has the power cosmic, the same reality-bending power as Franklin. And so, a plan hatches. Doom snaps. He goes all out on the heroes and ends up killing a bunch of them, including Falcon, Magneto, Professor X. But worst of all, Doom kills each member of the Thunderbolts one by one, as he goads Bob into turning into the Sentry. Ultimately, as Yelena is the last to die, Bob loses it and transforms into the Sentry. Then, in a recreation of one of Doctor Doom's most iconic comic book panels, Doom rips out Wolverine's adamantium skeleton, combines it with his own magic, and siphons Sentry's abilities. Bob dies right there as Doom's cloak turns from green to white. Yeah, we're doing this in the movie. We try to keep it PG now, Marvel. Oh, that sounded cooler in my head. I don't know why I said that. I'm sorry. Anyway, the remaining Avengers try to fight Doom but are incapacitated immediately. Doom flies into the sky, yells something about a perfect life under Doom, and unleashes a burst of white light. The final scene of the movie shows, of all things, a medieval village. Sam and Bucky, wearing era-appropriate clothing, meet each other, having zero recollection of any of the pain or tension they've had. They are just friends, no complications, like the old days. Then, Steve Rogers and Peggy Carter appear, inviting them for dinner at the castle. The camera pans up to see a huge, high-tech medieval castle looking over the world. Within the castle, upon a throne, sits Doom. Using Sentry's reality-bending abilities, he recreated the entire world. Now, he is the king of the universe. He wins. The movie ends right there. The credits shows art of where every Avenger is right now in this new world. Ant-Man is incredibly wealthy and able to pay for his family. Thor is revered like he used to be. And Shuri is with her family, who has been resurrected. Which, would require Marvel to recast T'Challa with someone other than the late Chadwick Boseman, which I personally don't want, but I think they would do that. Which, again, if I was in charge, I would not be happy with that, but they would do that. Anyway, everyone is happy and content in Doom's world. In a post-credit scene, of course, we see, of all things, Miss Marvel's house. Her and her family are watching the news and are appalled. According to the news, every adult superhero is now missing after that big explosion on Celestial Island. Miss Marvel worries what happened to the Avengers when suddenly there's a knock on her door. Of all people, it's Vision and Star-Lord. Vision tells Miss Marvel that he needs her help, given that they are some of the last superheroes remaining. Star-Lord asks if Miss Marvel knows anyone that can help. Miss Marvel tells them to follow her into her bedroom, where she has a list of several young superheroes that she wanted to recruit into a team that she dubbed the Young Avengers. Yeah, we're doing Secret Wars as well. These movies are kind of a two-parter, at least it seems that way. So, you know what? I thought I would give this video a bit more sauce because, I don't know, it's fun. That being said, I have very few ideas for Secret Wars in comparison to Doomsday. We're just going to pretend that the writers at Marvel Studios will figure it out. Of course, that assumes that my ideas are worth anything and that Marvel will listen to me. But, maybe there's a chance. Anyway, the movie says Avengers, but really we're going to be focusing on the Young Avengers, which, if you don't know, the name is pretty obvious. They're kids that are also heroes. In this movie, the lineup that I'm... That's what I get for doing this live. I cough. Whatever, ignore that. In this movie, the lineup that I'm predicting... Oh, dang, I have spoilers. Yeah, there's spoilers here. I forgot. Dang it. Third tries the charm. In this movie, the lineup for the Young Avengers that I'm predicting are these characters. We have Stature, who is Ant-Man's daughter, Wiccan, Ironheart, Miss Marvel, probably as the leader of the team, Hawkeye, Miss America, and Spider-Man. I don't think Spider-Man fits here, but I feel like Marvel Studios would self-destruct if they went 2 Avengers movies without including Spider-Man. And if you'll recall, I don't think he's going to be in Avengers Doomsday. He's certainly not in the cast. He hasn't been rumored for that movie. Is that a spoiler? Nah, that's fine. Whatever. Point is, this is the lineup that I'm predicting. And I suppose Star-Lord and Vision are helping. They're kind of like babysitters, so to speak. And I'm betting that one of them is going to die halfway through, at least one of them. Maybe more, but that's a spoiler. Ooh, we'll see. So, early in the movie, it is established that Doom used a magic spell to teleport most of the world's heroes to an alternate universe called Battle World, where they have no memories of the past, and the entire universe is ruled by Doom. He didn't teleport the kid heroes because they're kids, so I guess, that conflicts with the first movie where he was going to kill a baby, but, don't worry about that. Marvel movies are known for their, flawed writing sometimes. He didn't teleport Star-Lord to Battleworld because he's not a hero on Earth, so I guess the enchantment missed him because it didn't know of him, which I think is very funny. And he didn't teleport Vision because of some reason that Marvel Studios can figure out. I'm really tired, I don't care about writing my own reason. Anyhow, these younger heroes, and Star-Lord and Vision, are the only hope to saving the Avengers because every adult hero is gone, teleported away. Even characters that were not in the previous film, like Hulk and She-Hulk and Moon Knight and Daredevil and all that stuff. They're somewhere on Battleworld, even if we don't see them. But hopefully we do see them. I miss Moon Knight. Anyhow, the Young Avengers train with Star-Lord and Vision, because, I think that'd be a fun scene. Personally, I'm envisioning something like a sparring match set to I Want to Take You for a Ride from the soundtrack of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Because, again, I think that'd be funny. Sometimes you just gotta do things that you think would be funny or cool. Also, Vision and Ironheart are developing a weapon called the Ultimate Nullifier, which can supposedly erase Doom from existence. This will not be important for most of the film, but it will be important later, so you better remember it. Anyhow, at some point, the Young Avengers can portal into Battleworld thanks to America's portal-making abilities. The Young Avengers attempt to get the old Avengers to remember their past lives, but it doesn't work, mostly due to the fact that their lives in Battleworld are so much better. For instance, Sam doesn't want to remember a world where Steve is dead and he has a feud with Bucky, so he is content living this lie. But the Young Avengers keep pressing on, trying to get the old Avengers to remember, which reaches a boiling point, culminating somehow in the death of Vision, which would add a lot of stakes because Vision is sort of Wiccan's father. It's weird, but it sort of is. I don't exactly know how this boiling point is reached. Maybe they bother the wrong person and it gets dark. I don't know. Following this, the Young Avengers are imprisoned for heresy against Doom or something of that sort. They're probably imprisoned by evil, amnesiac versions of heroes we're familiar with, maybe the Fantastic Four. It would be ironic if the Fantastic Four directly served Doom. Now, for some reason, my brain is convinced that in whatever medieval prison they're put in, the Young Avengers will find Deadpool, and he will be the only adult hero who remembers their past life because of his ability to break the fourth wall and understand these, not real. I think that's a pretty cool integration of that power that would otherwise not really be functionally useful. Anyhow, with the help of Deadpool, they break out, and maybe there's some other heroes in prison that they break out with them, like Punisher or Echo, you know. Now, you'll have to bear with me, because I have no idea how this happens, but it's okay, because I don't need to worry about writing this movie. That's someone else's job. At somewhere at this point in the movie, all of the heroes get their memories back in some emotional, grand scene. And after that, they team up and they lay siege to Doom's castle. Since Doom is so powerful at this point, he still has Sentry's abilities, remember. The lead up to the final battle will be most of the heroes breaking into the castle and fighting Doom's army of robots, while a few characters stay behind and try to figure out how to depower Doom. The solution that they come up with is that Ironheart must use an arc reactor to jumpstart the celestial genes in Star-Lord's DNA, which can somehow, bear with me, make Doom less powerful at the cost of Star-Lord's life. It's a bitter moment, but ultimately, Star-Lord sacrifices his life to weaken Doom, and so everyone can fight him. And this is where we get this movie's equivalent of the Endgame Portals scene. Here, we have as many heroes as Marvel can pay for. We have the Avengers, the Young Avengers, the Thunderbolts, the Fantastic Four, the X-Men. We're gonna bring in the Guardians of the Galaxy. We're gonna bring in the Eternals, who, by the way, were in an earlier version of this script that I'm saying right now, until I remembered that America Chavez exists and was in a movie that did better than Eternals. But that's okay. And you know what? While we're doing all of this, bring in the Defenders and the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And in fact, if we're going to do more multiverse crossovers with other Marvel adaptations, I think they should full send it with this movie. I want to see Howard the Duck from the 1980s movie. I want to see Kraven the Hunter from that really awful movie from last year or so. I want to see live-action versions of the Spider-Verse characters and Big Hero 6. I know people are getting tired of these multiverse crossovers. I'm losing steam for them myself, even though I'm obsessed with them. So you know what? Make Secret Wars not only the last multiverse crossover, but also the biggest one. I'm so terrible at speaking, but it's okay. You're almost done the video. You can keep going. I believe in you. Ultimately, Doctor Doom is defeated. Mr. Fantastic gets ready to use the ultimate nullifier on him. Remember, that was important. Better have remembered. Before he gets a new idea, Mr. Fantastic points the ultimate nullifier not at Doom, but at the ground, and is ready to erase all of Battleworld from existence. Doom goes on about how there will be huge multiversal consequences, and everybody will lose their new perfect lives, and Doom will come back and ruin the Fantastic Four forever. You know, all that villain stuff. But that doesn't sway Mr. Fantastic. Everybody, unsure of what will happen, says a bunch of teary goodbyes and thank yous to each other as Mr. Fantastic uses the ultimate nullifier, and the screen goes white. We cut to the residence of the Fantastic Four, paralleling the end credit scene of their movie, except that they're now in the Sacred Timeline universe instead of the Fantastic Four universe. Invisible Woman is reading to Franklin before Doctor Strange portals in and asks what the F is happening, except he doesn't say F, he says the actual swear word, because I think it would be funny, and Marvel is used to swearing now after Deadpool and Wolverine happened. Invisible Woman tells him the truth. She's the only person that she's aware of who remembers all of her former universes, including the Fantastic Four universe and Battleworld. The rest of the Fantastic Four, and everyone that she's talked to about this, which is probably not many people, think that they've always lived in this universe. Everybody thinks that the Avengers and the Fantastic Four have always been in the same universe. Anyhow, Doctor Strange leads Invisible Woman into a room, through a portal, as he explains that only 4 other people, to his knowledge, seem to remember what happened. Those people are Sam Wilson, Blade, a recast Professor X, and then either Black Panther or Miss Marvel. Probably Black Panther. And to clarify, this is still Shuri. I think that Marvel would recast T'Challa, but I don't think that they would fully resurrect him permanently. Maybe just in Battleworld. Hopefully just in Battleworld. Anyway, those 4 characters, as well as Invisible Woman and Doctor Strange, now are an adaptation of the Illuminati, which is a team from the comics that are all about the Infinity Stones, but those don't exist in the MCU anymore. So they're being repurposed here as the 6-ish people who remember Battleworld. So it's fine. Don't worry about it. The Illuminati discusses how the universe has changed. The Sacred Timeline now has mutants and vampires. Mutant culture has now existed for at least the past few decades, and when it comes, with it comes bigotry against mutants. Sentinels probably don't exist at this point, but they will very soon. The Avengers and the New Avengers are still separate groups with a lot of tension, though perhaps less tension than before. And Dracula exists somewhere. Somewhere. To explain it more neatly, aspects of the Sacred Timeline, the Fantastic Four universe, and the X-Men universe have merged together into one new, quote-unquote, super universe. And it seems that Doctor Doom is still alive, recast with a Romani actor, as he should have been cast in the first place, and it's unclear if he remembers the past or not. He's still evil, so he's still an issue. But the 6 people in the room promise to stand united and to protect this new world, no matter what new threats there are, as Earth's mightiest heroes. We cut to black, the credits roll, and there's no end credit scene. In terms of any miscellaneous stuff, well, that slide was supposed to appear earlier. We're going to ignore that. In terms of any miscellaneous stuff, I predict that Avengers Doomsday will receive mixed reviews and will perform the worst out of all of the Avengers movies. However, Secret Wars will receive highly positive reviews and will perform similarly to the first Avengers film. I don't think it's likely that there's going to be an MCU movie that does as well as Endgame, ever. But, that's fine. They don't need to. Following Secret Wars will be the next saga in the MCU, which I think will be the Mutant Saga, which will begin with films featuring Wolverine, Storm, and the X-Men, possibly including Wolverine and Storm, but since they have their own movies, that's up for debate. I also predict we will get a team-up movie with War Machine and Captain America, merging together ideas from the Armor Wars movie that probably won't happen, and I'm sure they have ideas for a Captain America 5, but given the reception to the last movie, I don't know if that's going to happen. So merge them together. Hopefully it'll be good. And finally, within the first 3 years of the Mutant Saga, we will get Blade. It'll take a while before we get films like Deadpool 4 and Shang-Chi 2, but we'll get our sequel fix pretty early on with Black Panther 3, so not to worry. My final prediction is that, in spite of supposed superhero fatigue, the Marvel Cinematic Universe will carry on. Although billion-dollar successes will be a lot more rare, the quality of the movies, and TV shows as well, will see a relatively sharp increase. The movies will be better, the shows will be better, and everything is going to be okay. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need some water. That was exhausting. This was a terrible idea. Never film an entire video in one take. Oh my gosh, I really should have edited this. I stuttered so much. Like, I coughed and I sniffled like a gremlin. I'm disgusting. Whatever. Like and subscribe. I don't know if I'm going to do another video like this. Vote with your likes and your subscribes and your comments. Apparently comments are good. Whatever. I don't know, drink some water. It's good for you.